Remember, it's tools, not rules, that will help you to traverse the road and take the journey to real-life love. Fairy tales may not come true, but the magic of true connection outshines even the best of fantasies. I did it, so can you. Hi, I'm Dr. Bonnie Eaker Weil, also known as Dr. Bonnie. I specialize in singles and couples therapy. Today we're going to talk about dating. It's not about getting lucky, it's knowing how to date. It takes courage to love. Life is a reasonable risk. Part of love and life is getting hurt. You can't have one without the other. In the single world, most relationships stop before they start. We predict the outcome from past hurts. We need to take the journey. Relationships are worth it. Smart Heart skills are dialogues that nurture your relationship before it's a relationship. We use these skills and dialogues to recognize the people that you're coming across in the dating world. And with these skills and dialogue, you can come across any situation and handle it perfectly. I don't believe in games. I don't believe in manipulation. I don't believe in rigid rules. That's where I got my Smart Heart from. You need to have a conversation with someone that you've just met, believe it or not. I'm not telling you to talk the relationship to death, but for the first 3 dates at least, you have to have Smart Heart dialogue, which is a discussion, a talk, a connection about things that are bothering you, things that you're afraid of, because otherwise the relationship will never get past the 3rd date. As an example, when a man doesn't call you, usually it's because he likes you. So if you're not the guardian of connection, like I'm asking you to be, and being proactive and making the first move, you'll think he doesn't like you and not realize that he's more sensitive to rejection than you are. So you have to keep the ball rolling. You have to be proactive because the man's natural inclination is to distance. And your natural inclination as a pursuer, 80% of women are pursuers, is to connect. We're talking about connecting, disconnecting, and reconnecting. And men are wonderful at disconnecting. And since you're good at connecting, don't get mad at him when he disconnects, but help him to reconnect. Men's intimacy is forever compromised due to a developmental lag in childhood, which can be reversed by Smart Heart skills and dialogue. That's why women have to make the first move. You're the guardian of connection. Don't wait for him to ask for your card, ask for his, and give him yours. Don't wait for him to call you for a date. He's not going to do that. He's going to be evasive and vague if he does. He's going to say, how about seeing me next week sometime? And you have to nail it. How about Sunday at 7 o'clock? Call him for a fun activity. Have a set goal and something planned. And I guarantee you will get not only to the 1st date and the 2nd date, but past the 3rd date. As the guardian of connection, use these Smart Heart skills to reconnect with less fear. Slow things down to your or his comfort level. Don't define or call the relationship anything. Enjoy and have fun. Be in the moment. Watch his movement, not the words. Desensitize yourself to rejection. Hurt is part of love. You cannot have one without the other. Don't predict the outcome. Be positive. Don't stereotype. Don't be picky. Get ghosts out of the closet. Closure with past exes. Don't talk about exes on the first 3 dates. Face your fears. Don't run from them or you'll end up safe and lonely. Don't do this like a job interview. Pretend you're on a mini vacation. The best way to meet people is to do what you like to do. If you're a man, include a woman's activity like shopping. If you're a woman, include a man's activity like a sporting event. It does not matter where you go or what you do. If you're ready, you will meet. You have to work on being positive and not self-conscious. They've done studies that people that meet other people is because of their energy level, not because of their attractiveness. So you need to be engaging, smile, look the person in the eye, act as if you want them to come closer, especially if you're dealing with men because they're shy and they fear rejection. If you feel bad about your appearance, then do something about it, instead of staying home and saying, I can't go because of that. Stop excuses and go for it. The time is now or you will be lonely. A great way to meet people is to go to things that you'd like to learn, like tennis, racquetball, skiing, golf. When meeting someone for the first time, smile, look in their eye, be warm and friendly, and reach out, because men are shy and more sensitive to rejection. Have a plan of what you're going to talk about. Read the newspaper, watch the news, so you can strike up a conversation by putting the person at ease. Listen 50% of the time and talk the other 50% of the time. Most men are distancers, 80% are distancers. What's a distancer? A distancer is someone who connects by disconnecting. And there's a wide range of distancers. The first distancer is the elusive man. Don't confuse an elusive man with someone who is not interested in you. An elusive man is someone who's afraid and probably recovering from another relationship. Example, widower, or someone just got separated or divorced, or someone who is wounded by the loss of someone in their family. A vanishing man has flair and romance, and actually you think that they're going to hook you and whisk you away, but usually they disappear out of thin air. Some vanishing men are connectable by instruction. However, they're usually selfish, and they have to want to. The biggest mistake women make is to hook on to a vanishing man and believe his words. You must look at their movement, not listen to their words. The elusive man, on the other hand, is connectable by instruction. The elusive man can be taught if he feels safe. And that's where my smart heart dialogue comes in. Because when I was dating my husband, I used those skills to help my husband feel safe. He looked like a vanishing man, but he was really an elusive man, but really just a regular distancer because he was recovering from another relationship. This is a way you would not stop a relationship before it starts. This is also the reason why women have to make the first move, because most men are elusive, vanishing, not connectable by instruction, or connectable by instruction. Many men that are distancers are workaholics because they do not feel confident with relationships. They're afraid of failing at relationships and feel very confident at work. A pursuer is someone who gains self from other people and doesn't give you an inch of space. Did you know that 80% of women are pursuers and 80% of men are distancers? The pursuer is always in trouble with the distancer. The pursuer tries to sell and cheerlead the distancer, then manipulate by playing hard to get, then gets very angry at the distancer and pushes the distancer away by pursuing. In order to get the distancer to move towards you, you need to understand his schedule, to set up fun and playful activities, and to take your space before he takes his. This is an example of how effective the smart heart dialogue can be, because Amy went on a date and the man never called her back, and when they met coincidentally in the supermarket, she got very angry at him. Amy, one of the things that I would like you to do is to call him back and apologize.
All right, that makes me very nervous.
You don't look like you really want to apologize.
No, now I feel like it's awkward because I kind of set up an awkward situation with being upset with him.
Right.
So I have some damage control to do. And yeah, that makes me nervous.
Right, and he's human, and he's feeling rejected too because you yelled at him and you made him feel upset. And I understand you were very rejected yourself, but he's also rejected. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to call him up and apologize for getting angry.
Okay.
And let him know that he has just as much a right to have space as you do to want to have a connection and go out with him.
Okay.
And then ask him, say, possibly was it getting too intense? I mean, we went out, we had a really nice time, and I really like you, and I really had fun with you.
So I should ask him why he didn't call?
No, you can't ever ask a man. That's a good question. You don't ask a man why he didn't call, because first of all, he usually doesn't know, and secondly, if it's because he disconnected out of fear, he's going to be very frightened to tell you that even if he does admit it. So all you're doing is, smart heart dialogue means you're getting in his head, you're letting him know it's okay to feel the way he doesn't know he feels.
Okay.
And saying, hey, look, maybe it got too intense for you. I just thought we had a good time. I'm happy to take it one day at a time, and I'd like to go out with you and not stop something before it even starts.
Okay. Just keep it simple.
Amy looked very surprised, which is how most women look when I tell them this, because no one's ever used to telling the truth. Smart heart dialogue is about being honest, because most people in dating play games and they manipulate. This isn't about a manipulation in a game. It's about this person is getting scared because of the closeness and the intensity of the relationship, even though it was only one date. So to get past that, you have to explain that you had a good time with him, you're looking forward to having fun, you understand he needs his space, and it's okay, let's take it one day at a time. That's how you get to be the guardian of connection and move it forward and get momentum. Okay, so Amy, you're going to call now and apologize for getting so angry at him and for trying to reconnect back to him. Because remember, his natural inclination is disconnection. So you're trying to get him to connect back to you without any pressure.
Okay.
Okay? So let's dial the number.
All
I know you don't want to do it, but
Get
let's go.
So, hey there, I just wanted to apologize if I came across as angry when I ran into you, but you have every right to your space. And I completely understand that, but I just wanted to reconnect with you because I did have a wonderful time when we went out, and I just wanted to keep in touch and see if you'd like to go out again.
This is the mistake a lot of people make. You have to nail it. You can't keep it vague like that.
Okay.
You have a plan, and you're going to nail it, and you're going to get, because distancers are very non-committal. They will not, they'll say, I'll see you, maybe sometime I'll give you a call. So you have to set up an activity, something that you think he would be interested in, and connect. And say, look, I want to have a good time with you. Let's have a good time. I'd like to ask you out to go to a Broadway show, for instance. I know you like shows.
Okay.
Okay, so there's no
Open-endedness.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. All right, take two. All right, so hey there. First, I want to apologize for seeming upset when we ran into each other the other day. I completely understand you deserve and need your space. But we did have a great time when we went out, and I would love to meet up with you again. And I know we discussed Spring Awakening being a great new musical, and maybe we could catch that.
Okay, great.
Still 2 question marks?
You see the difference now? Because you didn't come on angry, and then you made it safe for him to be able to see you without any bonds or chains around him. This is a very good example of how smart heart dialogue can help a man to reconnect to you with safety. An alarm goes off for men by the 3rd date because they feel that they're not having the deep feelings that maybe you're having, and they're afraid of hurting you. So what they do is distance and disconnect. What I'm asking you to do is to reach out and assure the man that it's okay if he doesn't want to get serious, that you just want to have a good time, take it one step at a time. You're a big girl. He's not going to hurt you. You're not going to let him hurt you. And you want to have fun together and see where it goes. The 3rd date gate will not open if you want to be sure you won't be hurt, you predetermine what should be and have trouble reevaluating. This is a sign that your mind is closed. You won't give up trying to get from others what you can only get from yourself. Your ambivalence makes you picky. Smart heart skills and dialogue are crucial between the first and the third date to create the glue to keep you together as your relationship grows, so your relationship does not stop before it starts. Sex or not to have sex? Now remember, men are sexual pursuers and emotional distancers, so without the smart heart dialogue, this is not going to fly. I love the smart heart dialogue for the sexual situation, because most times if a woman has a date with a man and has sex with him too early, she feels guilty and doesn't have sex the second time, and the man's upset because now he feels rejected. In Smart Heart, you explain to the man why you think you had sex too early and ask if you could now rewind. So Sarah, not to worry. I know that you slept with him a little too soon, and it's very normal to get carried away. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go backwards, and you're going to correct your mistake, but you have to do it very delicately, because remember, men are more sensitive to rejection than women, and especially in the sexual area. So I want you to use smart heart dialogue so that he just doesn't wonder what's going on when the next time you meet him and see him, you don't have sex with him. He might stop the relationship before it could have started. Okay, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so go for it.
Okay. Okay, I kind of feel like we both just got really carried away because I'm really, really, really attracted to you, and so I just wanted to be with you, but now thinking back on it, I like you so much that I'd really like to get to know you better before we're sexually intimate again.
Remember when I said that men are more sensitive to rejection? This is where the smart heart dialogue and skills come in, so I can see by his face that he's not getting it. Okay, so we have to do a little bit more, Sarah, because keep going with the smart heart, because he looks like he's really, really offended and rejected and doesn't buy it, because there's so many game playing going on in most dating that he really thinks you're giving him a game. So you need to go more into the skills and let him know how you really feel.
Okay. I just really want you to know that I'm not just playing a game with you, that I just kind of don't want to scare you away, but I really do like you. And since I really do like you, I don't want the way I feel after having sex with you so early to put some type of wedge between what could be a really great time. Still nothing.
So are you going to be okay with that then? Because what she's saying to you is she needs to get to know you because she went too fast, and she is the 20% of women that are distancers. Okay? So she's starting to get suffocated and a little bit scared.
Yeah, right.
So she needs some space now, and you need to give her a little bit of room so that you don't blow this thing. You going to be okay with that?
Yeah.
So give her some smart heart dialogue back to let her know that it's okay. Give her plenty of room so she feels then she could come to you the next time.
I think it's good. I think it's good that we have this open dialogue. Yes. I think we should get to know each other. Yes.
And you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You don't feel offended?
No, I don't feel offended. I feel like I'm really attracted to you also, and I want to make this work. I don't want to. Yeah, I'm definitely.
Doesn't mean
okay
like
with
we'll
it.
never
No,
have
no,
sex again.
no. I know. We're going back.
Right,
Yeah. I think it's a good approach.
This is how you make sure that a relationship doesn't stop before it starts. The use of this smart heart dialogue is to show that the man is not feeling rejected and understands that you need a little more time. Smart heart dialogue for a distancer who's coming on sexually and you want to slow him down. Woman, You are very attractive, and it will be hard for me to wait to have sex with you, but just think how great it will be when we do. This lets him know that you're not just leading him on or teasing him. Be very complimentary and reassuring when you tell him you want to wait, because he will feel a sense of rejection. I once explained this to a very handsome man after our third date, and he said, "Oh, I thought it was because you didn't think I was attractive. I'm glad you told me that because I wasn't going to ask you out again." We ended up together for 4 years. Remember that men are sexual pursuers and emotional distancers. This is the way they feel comfortable in connecting to us. Don't confuse an elusive man with a vanishing man if he comes on to you sexually. But men are very sensitive to rejection, even more so than women. So when you're turning a man down sexually because you're not ready, you need to distinguish between not being interested and not being ready, or he'll never call you back again. The origin of my Smart Heart skills and dialogue actually came from the relationship with my husband, Jeff.
I didn't know we were living together. We were seeing each other every night for a year, but I never left anything behind, not even a toothbrush.
Well, that's how his Smart Heart started, because remember when you said, "We're living together," and I said, "We're not"? Because of that confusion of not being able to define our relationship, that's when Smart Heart skills and dialogue were born.
I used to leave at 6 o'clock on Sunday nights. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I had had enough closeness. Bonnie and I sat down and talked about it, and I found out that I had a suffocation wound and she had an abandonment wound. And the only way to get around it was to discuss it with the Smart Heart dialogue and skills.
And that's when I realized I wanted to marry you, because you figured out a way for you to get your space and me to get the closeness by going together in your house. You would go through your mail and look at your reports, and I would sit and watch TV, and then later you would have dinner with me. And that's how we worked it out. And that's actually when we started to use the Smart Heart dialogue and skills. We didn't realize we were even doing it at that time. The pumpkin syndrome is a syndrome that most of my patients can identify with if they're pursuers and they have abandonment issues. The distancer is looking to get his space on a Sunday night after a long weekend of closeness. Why are relationships so complicated? Because we pick a person who gives us the most trouble. This is called the imago. Across a crowded room, you will pick someone unconsciously who is a composite image of the positive and negative traits of your parents. And guess what's the strongest part of the attraction? The negative traits. So Mother Nature set it up so the person that we pick can help us grow by challenging us. You're picking somebody who's going to be different than you and going to challenge you, so it makes for a very exciting relationship, but it also goes into a power struggle after the honeymoon dies down. The negative traits that are the strongest part of the attraction don't bother us in the beginning, in the honeymoon stage, because the hormones are keeping us safe and doing the work. After the honeymoon dies down, which is after 18 months, the power struggle comes in, and that's when the traits that you originally were attracted to get to you and you start finding fault with your partner. Well, in the power struggle stage, you need to rev up those hormones until the cuddle hormones catch up. That means using what I call attachment skills. Attachment skills get the cuddle hormone oxytocin going, such as snuggling, kissing, hugging, dancing, and touching. These will increase those hormones so you will have a honeymoon from time to time, but you need to work at that, such as play dates, weekly, spending time with each other, not dealing with the children all the time, keeping that separate, not working all the time and not making time for your partner. Verbal aphrodisiacs is something that I recommend, which is 30 seconds of saying something nice to your partner twice a day. Remember that rituals maintain connection and reaffirm memories. That's why rituals are so important. I'm suggesting mini connections. How many of you out there make time in the morning to say goodbye to your partner? Or when they come home? How many of you eat together? Most couples spend 10 minutes a week together. I'm advocating 10 minutes a day. You talk for 10 minutes a day, not on the phone, person to person. Snuggling twice a day, in the morning when you wake up, even if one of you is still sleeping. Snuggling at night before you go to bed. Don't talk during the day by phone because it's an intimacy blocker. It prevents you from making time at night to either have dinner together or to sit and talk together. Put your relationship first. Just like when you're saving money, you pay yourself first. Put your relationship and sex first. Sex should not be a last priority. It should be the first. Children should not be first. Your relationship should be first. Work should not be first. Your relationship should be first. When I was on the Today Show, Katie Couric and I talked about how important the 30-second kiss is. And I'm actually going to have all of you do the 30-second kiss now, and I'll tell you when to stop. And how did that feel? And now you're in the position to have an affair with your own partner. After the hormones die down in the honeymoon stage, love becomes a conscious decision. It's an intentional decision to be monogamous. The most potent part of the Smart Heart dialogues and skills is letting him go with love by giving him what we call a brush with death. And this is so that he or she can go into their emptiness and realize the depth of feeling that they have for you. The mistake most people make is they go back too soon. You need to give this approximately 4 to 6 weeks, and if it's a viable relationship, it will spring back. Keep a little bit of a connection, but don't date each other, so that the person can really feel what they need to feel. This is a demonstration of what this would be like by breaking up to make up.
We've been together for 2 years, and I understand you're still connected to your ex-wife. It's okay. I can't wait. We can either get engaged or you can be free. Either way, it's okay. If we break up and our relationship is meant to be, we'll spring back and spend the rest of our lives together. I'm letting you go with love. I'm leaving the door open. But I'm not waiting. And I hope you find your way back to me. I'm not angry with you for what you don't know and what you don't know how to do.
The brush with death is a breakup to make up. It's a separation that you create with loving feelings, not anger, to get the distancer to move, to be able to get into his emptiness and to miss you, and to feel the feelings that he has pushed aside. It is so that you don't get taken for granted. It is so that you're not invisible. The breakup and shakeup usually will wake up your relationship if it is a viable relationship. It is especially good with selfish men, because selfish men usually don't realize what you're worth until you've gone. The fear of losing someone becomes stronger for the distancer than the fear of loving them. In about 6 to 8 weeks, if you do this correctly and you don't pursue him, and it's a viable relationship and he's connectable by instruction, he will pitifully reach out to you. The distancer has a tendency to latch on to another pursuer while you're gone. It's very important for you to keep the door open and let him know that you believe in the relationship and you're not ending it permanently.
That was great.
If someone is going to someone else, you want to use the smart heart dialogue to let them go, but explain that it's going to dilute the relationship. So you're doing the smart heart dialogue now. I know that you really love her, but you know she's going to someone else. So you want to push her to him so that hopefully she comes back.
Okay.
So why don't you give the smart heart dialogue a chance? Pretend you're talking to her now. She's here in the room with us. What are you saying to her?
I'm not waiting. You can't have us both.
Okay. Now that's a little strong. I want you to make her accountable. I want you to be firm and let her know you're not waiting. But I also want to make it so that she wants to come back to you. So you have to be a little softer. You have to let her know you're fighting for the relationship and you have confidence in her and that you want to make it work with her, but you're willing to let her go if that's what she wants. Got it?
Mm-hmm. I'm not waiting. We can't have us both.
Perfect. That's smart heart dialogue. Remember that a scared man acts opposite of the way he really feels. Let's see why.
This is as good as it gets.
Well, if this is as good as it gets, then you just stop in the middle.
I just feel so disconnected. I haven't seen you for 3 months. I just don't understand.
But you haven't tried to see me in 3 months.
Now this is exactly what happens. He's a distancer, so he disconnects, and then he feels lonely and rejected and misses her. This is typical of what I see in my practice. Most of the time, the brush with death works. In extenuating circumstances, when you're dealing with the vanishing man or the vanishing woman who are selfish, you have to learn how to let go. You're invisible to him. Excuses for not spending time with you. He puts you last. He can't meet any of your needs. He calls you demanding if you share your needs or wounds. He is inconsistent. He is dishonest, not willing to be conscious of your relationship, and won't work on it together. A lot of men, especially widowers, fall into that just friends category. Now we will demonstrate with smart heart skills and dialogue what to do with the interim person that comes along before the widower is ready to fall for love.
At this time, I think we should be friends. I care for you and I don't want to lose you, but I would like to be friends at this time.
So Harvey, that is so perfectly normal for where you're coming from, you know, being a widower. But I'm going to give you the smart heart dialogue back. You just did great smart heart dialogue. It was very nice to be honest and tell her. And now I'm going to be her right now. And I'm going to say, you know, I know that you have a need to be free. I know that I'm an interim person and you're not ready for me. But I think that that would be a tease to both of us. Because you wouldn't be able to have anything and I wouldn't be able to have anything. And it would really complicate things. So I'll leave the door open, but I'm going to let you go with love.
Well, I think that's a very reasonable approach.
An elusive man is a moderate distancer, just like my husband, needs to know he can have his space more than he actually needs or wants it. Elusive man will fight, provoke, and test you just to get his space. The secret is to let him have it even before he requests it or tries to push your buttons. Give him space even if he says he doesn't want it. Show him you have no desire to run his life by having an active life of your own. He is charming, charismatic, and appealing. But if you get too close or pursue him, he will sprint away. The vanishing man comes on strong. How to spot a vanishing man. He tries to make you feel guilty or silly for wanting to have a commitment or get married. He expects you to be cheerful even when he sleeps with another woman or doesn't call you for weeks or months. He disconnects and expects to pick up and reconnect where he left off with no explanation. When you have sex, he makes you feel like no one measures up to you, then forgets you exist for 2 months. For the vanishing man, sex is another way to keep emotional distance. He uses it as a pseudo-intimacy to avoid the real thing. He talks the talk, but doesn't walk the walk. He cannot, under any circumstances, empathize about hurting you. Instead, he blames and accuses you of overreaction. He blames you when things aren't working out, saying you're too needy, too demanding, and want too much. He projects his feelings and shortcomings onto you. Beware. He provokes your neediness and pursuit because he gets off on it, but he loathes it at the same time. He's allergic to your emotions and discussions. He forgets you on your birthday and calls you a week or two later to celebrate. You can't make him jealous. Just when you've forgotten him or gotten over him and you have someone new, he pops up again like a jack-in-the-box. He wants to date others but still see you, and either doesn't want you to date anyone else or doesn't care if you date anyone else. How to recognize someone who is connectable by coaching and instruction. He responds once you teach him how. He validates you even if only by instruction. He listens to your needs and makes some attempt to fill them with instructions and guidance. He sometimes reaches out to connect with you even if it's awkwardly. He lets you nurture him and wants to learn how to nurture you. He welcomes reconnections and is happy to hear from you when you call. He makes time for you. He lets you set firm dates, and he keeps them, although he may need some prompting and encouragement. He misses you during disconnections. He tells you and shows you that you are valuable and important to him. He's like a butterfly. You can't catch him by chasing him, but if you stand still, he will come and sit next to you. He values you. Most distancers are connectable if you take the time and patience to teach them how to do it. This is a distancer who cannot connect. How to recognize someone who cannot connect. He won't acknowledge he has fears of intimacy, insists he has no fear. He is not capable of validating you. He doesn't miss you when you're apart. He disconnects when you connect. He never lets you nail him down on times and places for get-togethers. He does the opposite of what you say you want or need. He comes close and moves away. He hooks you in and keeps you dangling. He provokes ultimatums and limit setting, then blames you for his distancing. He leaves long times between contact. You always have to be the one to make the connection. Reconnection is impossible with him unless he wants it. It's his way or no way. He tells you but doesn't show you how great you are. He feels pricked before closeness is even attempted. He gives great phone but doesn't see you. Now, this is the elusive man who actually looks like a vanishing man. I don't know, he says. I don't know what I want in this relationship. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to lead you on. I may never have feelings like you do. By being understanding and unemotional as a woman, you give him the safety to open up. If he feels safe, he can share his mixed feelings with you. Tell him it's okay if he doesn't know how he feels or what he wants to do. If he worries about hurting you, let him know you can take care of yourself. Many men feel torn between being free and being in a relationship. They use disconnection as a way to stop the relationship before it starts, so they won't have to face the fears that are being triggered by the closeness. She says, we can move forward and see what happens. We can stop seeing each other, or you can call me back when you feel you are more ready. This makes me feel more secure, he says, rather than pushed. I also realize that my ploy to provoke you didn't work. Your role is still to be loving and firm, and it makes me feel good that you're leaving the door open, but you're not waiting. In this case, the man is not feeling guilty because the woman is giving him an out. And this is very important with men because men have what we call an abrupt schism from a developmental stage when they were 2 years old and left their mother. And intimacy is compromised forever with women after that. If you don't know that about men, you're never going to be able to connect and have a relationship with them. I hope you can see the love, courage, and journey that my parents handed down to me and what my husband and I picked up on. These smart heart skills and dialogue have given us so much love, and I know that they will do the same for you.